Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. With LSU and Ole Miss, that'll be our opening drive presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge, brand new sponsor here of the Hunt Palmer Show, and we certainly do appreciate them. It was an incredible day on campus at LSU, an incredible day on campus. It started with ridiculous traffic, which is fine with me. A lot of people are going the same place, and if it takes some time to get there and it takes some time to leave, that's okay. But the buzz on campus all day was absolutely palpable. It was awesome. The weather was good. A little warm, but the weather was really good. The energy was great, and that was evident when we did the pregame show out there between the Rams and the PMAC. When you got into the stadium, it was absolutely packed. The vibes were great. The energy was awesome. And what ensued over the next 4+ hours was absolutely incredible theater. It was a historic rivalry. It was sensational uniforms. It was exciting football. There were twists and turns and drama, and the game was in the balance late. And you got the incredible drama and the home team pulling it off. And it was just an incredible day. And that was what we talked about all week leading up to the game was, this doesn't happen all the time. It's not all the time that LSU has a good team and a good record. It's not all the time that the opponent is really, really good. It's not all the time that the game is played at night. It's not all the time that the weather is good. And when you get all those ingredients and they all come together, what can happen is really, really special. And Saturday night was really, really special. We will talk about that one forever. On Friday afternoon, from Lod Cook, I interviewed Brad Davis. Brad Davis did not win the Heisman Trophy. His teams did not win a national championship. He did not go on to an illustrious NFL career or make that Hall of Fame. Brad Davis is a dentist in Louisiana. But he's Brad Davis because of Burt Jones to Brad Davis on one Saturday night in Death Valley. And that's what we got on Saturday night. I thought the actual key to the game was that LSU did what Brian Kelly has been calling for since last year. Brian Kelly has been calling for complementary football since they came off the field in the ReliaQuest Bowl, and he made wholesale changes to his defense. And after the game, he said this: many people were expecting maybe a similar shootout to last year. I didn't think that would be the case. I can't say enough about the defensive effort tonight. Sacks, harassing the quarterback, making big plays when they needed to, and that's what we've been talking about in terms of getting better every single week on both sides of the ball. That was complementary football. That's what he said, and that's a term we have used, or he has used, time and time and time again, trying to get this program to a championship level. You can't play at a championship level the way they played defense last year. And he said in his press conference today, we didn't tackle anybody last year. Like, that was a direct quote. And that's true. They were terrible last year. LSU did not play complimentary football last year really at any point. The offense was carrying the entire weight all year long. And if they faltered like they did in the second half against Florida State and got blown out, when Jaden got hurt against Alabama and they got blown out, if they faltered, they lost. They had to be perfect in the second half against Arkansas and score every single time down the field. They had to be perfect against Missouri. And finally, the defense got a couple turnovers. But they've been working towards being complementary. I didn't say dominant. I said complementary. And listen to these examples of the two units, the offense and the defense, giving and taking and working together. It started in the first drive of the game. LSU, of course, takes the football. As we talked about on Friday, they will take the ball. I don't like it. It's going to happen. It just is what it is. But they go 3 and out in 40-something seconds. 3 and out, 40 seconds. Well, that's a point where Ole Miss can take control and throw the first punch because they're going to get the ball back. LSU's defense gets a 3 and out immediately. That's complimentary. I know you falter on offense, defense comes right back. Nussmeier has his first pass intercepted. Ball gets tipped up. Ole Miss intercepts it. They run it back into the red zone to the 13-yard line. Well, that's real trouble. The defense bailed them out. Got a 4th down stop. No points allowed. Then Ole Miss gets a field goal. Ole Miss gets the ball back. They go and get the 50-yard touchdown run to go up 10-0. Well, the defense finally buckled. They bailed you out 2 times early, but they finally buckled. What's the offense going to do? The next drive, offense goes 75 yards in 6 plays, touchdown to Trey'Dez Green. That's complimenting. It was the defense doing it early. The offense bails them out. Ole Miss immediately at that point goes back down, and they score a touchdown at 17-7. The offense does respond. They go get a field goal. Then, after that field goal, the defense gets the fumble. Whit Weeks knocks it out, lets LSU kick another field goal. So you've really had 2 and 2 in the first half of, well, we faltered here, but the other unit picks you up. That's complimentary. Second half, third quarter, Ole Miss gets a field goal with 17-17 to go in the third quarter. They take a lead. LSU goes right back, down 7, and gets that field goal answered to cut it back to 4. Well, then the LSU defense makes a big play. Zai gets the interception in the end zone where Ole Miss is threatening to go up 2 scores. If you were watching the game or you were in Tiger Stadium or wherever you were paying attention, you realize that if Ole Miss went up 2 scores, it was going to be trouble. And they had a chance there, and Zai picks off the pass. Well, Nussmeier then makes his worst decision of the day and throws the pop fly down the field and gives Ole Miss an easy interception. That was his worst moment of the game. But the defense holds and forces a punt, complimenting the offense. Last year, if Jaden throws that interception, the defense is going to give it right up. You know that. You're going to go down 2 scores, you're going to be toast. This defense held and forced the punt. And then up 20-16, Ole Miss is driving. They get all the way down to the 23, where they could, again, go up 2 scores, and the defense holds to a field goal. And the offense goes 75 yards for the touchdown at the end. And then, of course, in overtime, both units played great. LSU forces the hold on first down. The crowd gets into it. That's complimenting the entire team. And you get the penalties on Ole Miss to back them up. Ole Miss incomplete with 3 passes, 57-yard field goal. I cannot believe the kid made that, but he did. Credit to him. It's a huge kick. And then LSU goes right there for it on the first play and hits it. But there were 3 instances where Ole Miss had a chance to go up 2 scores and the defense held every time. The offense had the defense's back. When Ole Miss would score, the offense would go down there and score. The 2 units worked together. And no one is going to suggest that for LSU to allow Ole Miss to have 464 yards is some sort of dominant defensive effort. It's not. But you held Ole Miss to 23 points in regulation. That's good enough to win. It's just like you were in position against USC, had them held to only 13 points midway through the fourth quarter, and then you gave up the 2 late drives. But the defense did enough and made enough big plays and made enough stops to let the offense get its rhythm, which it did not have in the first quarter. Garrett Nussmeier started 3 of 11 in this game. And I wouldn't suggest that he was at his absolute best in this game, which he said after the game it was his worst game of his career. I realize it's not a huge sample size, but those 2 turnovers were rough, and his completion percentage was 43%. None of it was spectacular. The running game wasn't spectacular. Nussmeier wasn't spectacular for the entirety of the game. The defense didn't dominate. But what did you get? Complimentary, big-time clutch efforts when you needed them, really from everywhere. The pass rush was outstanding. 6 sacks. At the line of scrimmage, you had 9 tackles for loss. In the secondary, you made some plays. I mentioned the Zai Alexander pick. His Pro Football Focus grades were sensational in coverage, almost 90. Then you get P.J. Woodland with the pass breakup late in the game. Like you had some guys in position to make some plays in the secondary, and they did that. And then offensively, there were some tough sledding. Ole Miss is good on defense, but you made sensational plays when you had to, and we'll talk about that in the next segment, what Garrett Nussmeier did in the game, and you did enough to win. If they play that game again in Tiger Stadium, I don't know if LSU wins. If they play that game again at a neutral site, I don't know if LSU wins. They play that game in Oxford, I think LSU's in some trouble. But that was the point when we looked at this schedule back in August, and you start looking at how things are going to shake out. You look at what you thought would be LSU's toughest conference games, and they were at home. And that was going to be a huge advantage for LSU. And Saturday night, that crowd was a huge advantage for LSU. It spurred the LSU team on. It inspired the defense. It made communication tough on Ole Miss. And the Tigers, with complimentary football, got it done. It was an epic, epic, epic night in Tiger Stadium, and one that I think furthered the program along. You are showing quite obviously that there are improvements being made because of this coaching staff on defense. And the offense hasn't really taken a huge step back, even though you lost all those key cogs from last year. LSU may lose to Arkansas. They may lose the next two. They're tough spots to play on the schedule and based on location on the road. Then you got Alabama coming in here. Like, it's no joke. And you're watching that in the SEC every week. Tennessee's in dogfights with Vanderbilt. Tennessee's in dogfights with Arkansas and losing, and with Florida. Alabama loses at Vanderbilt. They're in a dogfight with South Carolina. Georgia is scuffling against Mississippi State. Texas is struggling with Mississippi State in the first half. Like, it's a tough league right now. And every win should be celebrated. And right now, LSU has all of its goals that it set out to accomplish in August on the table. Ole Misses are in trouble, and we talked about that all week. Right now, LSU is set up for some really good things. They just got to keep getting better on the defensive side of the ball, and I thought that was a huge step in the right direction on Saturday night. That's our opening drive presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.